I'm Luis Fausto from Metaintro, and I'm here with Natalie, CEO of Parallel Health, and I'm super excited to kind of get an idea of what they do, their tech behind that, and see if they're hiring. So, Natalie, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, let's start from the basics. Talk to us a little bit about what you guys do at Parallel, what the tech is, the innovation, and kind of like how did you guys start? Where did the idea come from?
Yeah, so Parallel, we're a precision health company, but we're starting in skin. Really, I met my co-founder, Dr. Nathan Brown, who's a microbiologist PhD. We met at a company where we both worked previously, and we brought to market the first ever phage-based serum for C. acnes bacteria. So let me break that down for you.
Yes, please.
So phages are microbes that infect bacteria. Okay, so they're like antibiotics, except they're targeted and they're natural. So they're like precise assassins that kill the bad bacteria but leave the good bacteria alone. And not many people know this, but dermatologists are the #1 prescribers of antibiotics across healthcare. And so we said, you know what, that's probably not the best for health in the long term. So we brought to market this serum targeting C. acnes bacteria, which is a bacteria that's correlated with acne, to market. And what we learned is that in a certain cohort of people, it worked tremendously well. Like we were able to get people off of antibiotics, off of Accutane, and yet in another cohort, it didn't hurt them, it just didn't really do anything. So we said, let's try to understand the discrepancy. Why is it working for some people and not for others? So we sequenced their skin microbiome. So that means we swabbed their skin, we understood their entire ecosystem of microbes, their bacteria, viruses, mold, mites, fungi. And what we learned is that in the cohort where it worked, these people had an overgrowth of C. acnes bacteria, which made sense because we were targeting C. acnes. In the other cohort, these people, even though they had skin issues, it was caused by other bacteria, Pseudomonas, S. aureus, sometimes it was mold or fungi. So we said, okay, if we're gonna bring a precision product to market, then we better test people and see what they have first to give them the right phage formulation. And we also needed a ton of data to make that happen. So Nathan and I, Dr. Brown and I left, and we started Parallel. So that's really the genesis of the company.
I mean, that's beautiful. I think you kind of found the problem, you collected the data like you said, and you made something out of it, which is Parallel, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious, right, being a founder, being a CEO, what are some of the challenges specifically with Parallel that you've kind of run into, maybe even like from a leadership standpoint? What are some of the challenges you've kind of faced as a company, and just how to overcome that?
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately, any team, any startup is really foundationally impacted by the people, right? And I'm so proud of our team because, we've hired people who are smart and curious and really, really ambitious.
Yes.
But as a startup, you're also strapped for resources, right? And so you're constantly balancing, investing in expanding the team, but also investing in the technology, and then trying to make strides that are well ahead of other companies that have many more resources than you do. So that's just a struggle of being a startup.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of pedals, right? You're trying to push gas on all of them, the team, resources.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious, like, where do you see this technology maybe in the next 5 to 10 years? Is it progressing? How has it been in the last 10 years? Can you speak a little bit about that?
I mean, if you look at the last 10 years, people have talked about personalization, right? Personalization has had a lot of hype. But up to this point, when you go to, or in cosmetics or in skincare, really it's about quizzes. It's saying, hey, Luis, what is your skin oily? Is it dry? What are your skincare goals? Okay, here's a formulation for you. What we're trying to do is say, all of that is important, but let's also look at, on a microbial level, what does your skin microbiome look like? And let's then inform a very precise regimen that's personal to you. Let's really take personalization up a notch. And so when I look into the future, I think that personalization is going to advance, and really we look at the future as personalized medicine, right? The vast majority of drugs in the world are tested on white males who are 50. That's fine if that disease is prevalent in that community, but we need to be able to understand that every person is unique, and let's try to develop unique solutions for people.
So I don't know if you can tell, my skin's a little oily, so maybe you could probably diagnose me some other way, but no, I love that. So now, how much money have you raised till date? And I ask that because it's a precursor to what I want to ask next, but how much money have you raised to date?
We've raised about 2.3 million.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on that. And obviously, with some fresh funding comes some job openings. Are you currently hiring at all?
So currently we're not, but we're looking to hire in Q1 of next year is when we would expect to hire.
Any specific roles so people can, keep an eye out? Or don't know yet?
We do know, certainly in marketing, biz dev, on the clinical side, like science, we have a lot of we will have a lot of job openings in the lab.
Awesome. So yeah, marketing, biz dev, very popular roles, within our community. And the last question I have for you, Annalise, is what are some professional tips you could give someone trying to break into the space, whether it's just tech in general or someone who just graduated who wants to work at a startup? What's kind of some advice you have for them?
I think that there's so much research that can be done individually. If you don't know if you're trying to break in, do your research. Read articles, read published papers. There's so much of that knowledge that you can get. And then also take an internship, even if it's for free. Like, get that experience. That's really a great way to pivot.
Well, Annalise, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure. I'm excited to keep a pulse on what you guys do within the next coming years. And I'm sure our community is going to love when you guys release some jobs. So I appreciate it. There you guys have it. Thank you.